everyone, this is Keith from the Solo Gamers Club and welcome to the channel. I wasn't actually planning on producing this video, it's purely a product of happenstance. What occurred was I was looking through my collection to find the next game to bring to the channel, and I stumbled into my archived games area. I had not been back there in years, and I was astounded at the things I found. In tonight's video, I'm going to preview a wide selection of games that I own, but for one reason or another, I've never played. Several of which have never even been punched. Some of the games are older, one actually dating back to, whether you believe it or not, the 1960s, and others are relatively new. Some titles might surprise you that they've never made it to my table, others not so much. I'm going to open the comments section for this video, as it will be interesting to hear your views about these games, and if you think that some of them should maybe be used and played on the channel. So without further ado, let's get started. First off is Magic Realm from 1979. It's an Avalon Hill game. I purchased this game circa 1988 at the Western Publishing Company retail store in Racine. This game is somewhat of a grail game from what I understand. But for whatever reason, I never took the time to read the rules and play the game. I punched out the map tiles, but that was about it. The rulebook for Magic Realm is divided into 3 sections: an introductory level, medium level, and an advanced level. Personal history pad for the characters are provided. As you can see, none of the counters have been punched yet. The game comes with 15 different tiles that are used to form the map board. These are the spell and treasury tokens for the game. So anyway, let me know in the comments if this is something that you might want to see on the channel. As you can see, we haven't even punched out half of this. I think I punched out the tiles here, and that was about it. And I never got around to reading the rules. So let me know if this is something you might want to see. Next up is Age of Conan, the strategy board game from 2009. I love the theme of this game, and I thought I would be able to play it solitaire in one form or another, but I never got around to trying it out. I also purchased the expansion, Adventures in Hyboria. Let me know if you think this could make for a reasonable solo playthrough video. The game comes with 2 different sheets of cardboard tokens, along with some player reference sheets. The game map is colorful and divided into different provinces. In the bottom tray of the box, we have 4 different colors for different factions of different buildings and units that can be built. And here's the expansion, Adventures in Hyboria. The expansion includes extra cardboard tokens, cards, and dice. Next is a title from Uwe Rosenberg, Feast for Odin. It's from 2016. I punched the components for this game, but never got around to bringing it to the table. It looks interesting, but other titles must have gotten in the way of learning the game. The game includes 3 separate booklets, a rulebook, almanac, and appendix. At the bottom of the box is a player tray to organize all of the tokens. Next up is Folklore the Affliction from 2017. I was really excited about this game, enough that I purchased the expansion and several deluxe components that the game's designer had available for purchase. However, this game was somehow relegated to my archives. Let me know if this is something I should have on the channel. Game comes with lots of cardboard standees. The mat board isn't very large, but it's beautifully illustrated. The game comes with a wide variety of enemies to encounter. In addition, I purchased the Dark Tales expansion. I purchased the Adventure Creation Kit, which allows you to make homebrewed adventures. I also purchased the equipment pack, world events, and crafting and recipes. Then from 2005 we have Fury of Dracula. This is the second edition of the game. I knew that this game had hidden information and that it would be difficult to play solo, but I loved the theme and the components. Later I found a solo module for it on BGG, but never got around to learning the rules or the solo variant. Please comment if you would like to see a playthrough using the solo variant from BGG. This is the solo module I printed from BGG. The mat board displays Europe during the late 1890s. The cards and components are beautifully illustrated. And now from 2015 we have The Gallerist. I bought this game from Eagle Gryphon Games when it came out, and I managed to obtain the Kickstarter elements as well. It being a Vital Lacerda title, I can't say why I haven't brought this to the table. I love the art gallery theme. I've punched the pieces and laid it out on the table once, but never got any further with this very well produced board game. These are some of the Kickstarter elements that I was able to acquire. The game board is colorful and beautifully illustrated. Next up is a moldy oldie. This was the Godfather game from 1971. I purchased this at a local variety store called Jack Langer Pharmacy around the Christmas of 1974. I always enjoyed the Untouchables TV series, whose storyline centered around the Chicago mob and Al Capone, and I thought that this might be a fun game. But somehow, it got lost at the bottom of a stack of games and was never even punched. 50 years is too long for any game to wait to be played. Based on the game board, it looks like the game has some type of Go element to it. Game's in remarkably great shape for being 50 years old. Next up is a game from 1990. It's a Milton Bradley offering called Daytona 500. I purchased the game the year it was released, as I loved auto racing back in the day, but it never made it to the table. Next is an Avalon Hill title from 1988 called Merchant of Venus. I purchased this title directly from Avalon Hill in the same year it was released, but was likely overwhelmed with Mark Herman's Pacific War and Victory Games titles Vietnam 1965 to 1975 and the Civil War. Victory Games was at the peak of its power at that time, and they produced some of the finest games of the day. My biggest regret was not buying their James Bond role-playing game system. What a missed opportunity. Next up is a title from 2016 called Of Dreams and Shadows. I purchased the game the same year it came out, but it never got me excited enough to learn the rules and play it. Let me know if I should be learning this game, or is it best to leave it to the ages. Here's the rule book and a Game World booklet. The cardboard tokens are colorful and beautifully illustrated. Now we have Tales of the Arabian Nights from 2009. I always liked the stories of the Arabian Nights and Scheherazade and the like, but somehow this game didn't ring with me, and as such never made it to the table. The game comes with a very colorful and beautifully illustrated map board. Here's the rule book and a very large book of tales. Next up is the Thunderbirds from 2015. Although I'm not from England, I remember the Thunderbirds back in the day. I purchased this out of loyalty to the show, along with all the expansions. Someday, it's going to make it to the channel. Maybe. The Tracy Island expansion includes my favorite character, Parker. Yes, my lady. The Hood expansion will turn the game from cooperative to semi-cooperative. Next up is an old TSR title from 1981 called Vampire. I bought this at Nelson's Variety Store in Racine in 1989. We would always stop off at Nelson's whenever we visited the Racine Zoo, as they always had interesting things for sale. I saw this on the shelf and snatched it up immediately, but sadly it's never made it to the table. The map is double-sided, with one side the region around Castle Dracula and the interior of Castle Dracula. The game comes with a tracker to determine whether it is daylight or nighttime. Now we have a game from 2006 called War on Terror. I bought this game from Amazon when it was released, as it looked like a kooky game that might make for a fun evening with friends, but again, it never made it to the table. This was around the time that I started going solo, so it's not that surprising that it has sat dormant for almost 20 years. game includes a balaclava that you can wear while you're playing the game. And now a title from 2005 from Fantasy Flight Games called World of Warcraft, the board game. I purchased this game along with all its expansions in '05, but somehow never got me excited enough to do any more than punch the pieces and give a cursory look. It does look to have potential and maybe might make for an interesting playthrough. Let me know in the comments. The map board is colorful and divided into different areas. At the bottom of the box is all of the plastic. Here's the Burning Crusades expansion. Comes with a map extension, along with some extra battle dice and plenty of cards. And the expansion wouldn't be complete without more plastic. Here's the Shadow of War expansion. Our next title is a game from 1965. Yes, you've heard it right. This game was purchased at a yard sale for $1 in 1986. It was in mint condition and never opened. The pieces are still in their original cellophane. Never had the heart to open it, and it's remained on the shelf for almost 40 years. Back in the day, a lot of the times the games had the rules on the inside of the box cover. Pieces are still in their cellophane covered trays. Next up is a game from 2018 called Western Legends. I had high hopes for this title, thinking I could convert it into a solo-friendly game. But as of this date, I haven't pursued it yet. There might be solo rules on BGG for this, I don't know. I'll have to take a look. The map board is beautifully illustrated and gives you a great theme for the Old West. The game came with a general store where the cards can be stored. Now comes a game from 2007 from the designer of Mage Knight. It's called Prophecy. I also purchased expansion number 2 called Water Realm. Here's the Water Realm expansion. Well, I'm sure there's many other games that I have buried in my archives that I've missed, but these were the ones that stood out to me. I hope you enjoyed this look back through history, and please let me know in the comments section if these games should be brought to the channel. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a pleasant evening. Good night.